we're going to take a look at adding mixed numbers. So if we remember from last week, a mixed number is when you have something, when you have a whole number and a fraction. So it's greater than a whole number. So I have the mixed numbers 1 and 3/8 and 3 and 1/8, and we just want to simply add them together. Something I want you guys to think about here. 1 and 3/8 really means 1 plus 3/8. Okay, so if you separate the fraction and the whole number, I want you guys to remember that it's 1 plus 3/8. You put them together, you get 1 and 3/8. 3 and 1/8 really is 3 plus 1/8. Put them together, you get 3 and 1/8. Now to add mixed numbers, we're just going to rewrite a horizontal equation. We're going to rewrite it vertically, lining up the fractions and the whole numbers like so. So I have 1 and 3/8, and we're going to add that to 3 and 1/8. So we kind of have like columns, you know, we have our fraction and we have our whole number. Well, it's really as easy as this. Let's add our fraction together. 3/8 plus 1/8. Well, I have the same denominator, so I'm a happy camper because when we have the same denominator, adding and subtracting is easy. 3/8 plus 1/8, I know is 4/8. So I get the fraction 4/8. Then look at your whole numbers. We have the whole number 1, the whole number 3, add them together, and we get 4. So we have 4 and 4/8. Now that is our answer, but anytime we can, we always want to simplify. Okay, so think about last week. Yes, my answer is 4 and 4/8, but if we can simplify, we always simplify a fraction. And I know that the fraction 4/8 can be simplified using the greatest common factor of both 4 and 8. And I know the largest factor of 4 and 8 is 4. So I'll use that to divide my numerator and my denominator. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2, but we can't forget about that whole number. So the answer to my addition equation, 1 and 3/8 plus 3 and 1/8, is 4.5. All right, well that's the easy one. Let's take a look at one where we don't have, where we have an improper fraction. So I have 3 and 4/6, and I'm going to add that to 2 and 3/6. Okay, so again, guys, we're going to rewrite that horizontal equation. We're going to rewrite it vertically, lining up our whole number and fraction. So we have 3 and 4/6, and we're going to line that up with 2 and 3/6. Again, kind of looking at that middle column separating my fraction and my whole number. So 4/6 plus 3/6, well that's easy, guys. Again, my denominator is the same, so we just have to add our numerators, and 4 plus 3 is 7, okay? And then we go over to our whole number, 3 plus 2, well that equals 5. So we get the answer of 5 and 7/6. Now if you think about last week, we have a fraction, it looks kind of weird. Something's wrong with this fraction, it doesn't look like a normal fraction. It's an improper fraction. So last week we talked about improper fractions being greater than 1 whole. So technically I have a fraction that's more than 1. In order to change this or to convert this into a proper fraction, we have to take away a fraction that is equal to 1. Now look at your denominator, guys. Our denominator tells us everything. 6 is our denominator. So if I think of a fraction that's equal to 1 whole, that fraction would be 6/6. Okay, and we want to take that away from our fraction of 7/6, but we can't forget about it. So I'm going to put a box around that because I don't want to forget about it. It's going to come back. But I can take away from 7/6, and I know 7/6 minus 6/6 is equal to 1/6. Now, we took it away from our fraction, but we can't forget about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add it to our whole number. So I know 1 whole taken away from a fraction plus 5, 5 plus 1 is 6. And our answer is going to be 6 and 1/6. And that one, guys, we can't simplify. It is in the simplest form. So now let's take a look at how we can check our work on our calculator, because we know we can do this. All right, so let's look at our original equation, 3 and 4/6. I'll type in 3 unit, 4 numerator, 6 denominator. So I have 3 and 4/6. And we want to add that to 2 and 3/6. So let's go 2 unit, 3 numerator, 6 denominator. Now let's see what happens when we hit enter. Okay, when we hit enter, our calculator does everything for us. It takes the improper fraction of 5 and 7/6 because it knows it can't give us an answer as an improper fraction. So it converts it automatically to a proper fraction of 6 and 1/6, which is exactly what we got as our answer. All right, guys, if it doesn't make sense, rewind the video, look at the example again, and then try a few for yourself. All right, go get them.